Legendary game developer Hideo Kojima has released one game since his infamous split with Konami, and that was Death Stranding. Before Kojima was working on Death Stranding, he was busy making a horror game project with Konami in the form of Silent Hills, developing a playable teaser for the game called PT that, despite being brief and only available for a short period of time, was hugely influential for the horror game genre. Now that Hideo Kojima has finished Death Stranding and its director's cut release, fans are left wondering about what his next project will be. Rumors have persisted that Kojima is working on a horror game of some kind, with the developer himself hinting as much on social media. An official announcement has yet to happen, but the latest info potentially reveals the name of Kojima's horror game as well as one of the actors involved with it. According to leaker Tom Henderson, who claims to have received footage of the game, Hideo Kojima's horror game project is called Overdose. According to Henderson's description of the footage, it shows a character played by Margaret Qualley wearing a blue dress and walking in the dark with a flashlight. Henderson reports that the game will potentially offer both first and third-person perspectives. The casting of Margaret Qualley should be interesting to those who are familiar with Hideo Kojima's work. As some may recall, Qualley played the character Mama in Death Stranding. It doesn't appear as though Overdose is a Death Stranding sequel, but it would be far from the first time that Kojima has used the same actor in a different project. For example, Death Stranding star Norman Reedus was originally meant to play the main character in Silent Hills before the project was cancelled. Kojima's horror game has been rumored for quite some time now, but that's not the only rumor that's been floating around about the project. Some reports have claimed that it is Kojima's next Xbox exclusive game, while others have said that it will actually be coming exclusively to PlayStation 5. During 2022's Summer Game Fest, Kojima made a not-so-surprise appearance where he spoke a little about what his studio is up to. He revealed that Kojima Productions and Microsoft have struck a deal to release an Xbox game, and the game will make use of Microsoft's cloud technology. This is an exciting announcement, as it opens up the possibility for some truly unique gameplay design from Kojima. There was not much information given regarding the upcoming game, although Kojima did let gamers know that they will probably have to suffer through a bit of a wait before they can play the game. There has been plenty of speculation surrounding the upcoming game. It is unlikely to be Death Stranding 2, as the franchise seems to be closely associated with PlayStation, which has led gamers to believe Kojima is working on a new IP. Kojima has yet to confirm or deny that his upcoming game is Overdose or that Henderson's leak is correct. However, considering Henderson's impressive track record, it is likely that there is at least a morsel of truth to the leak. While it is impossible to confirm what genre Kojima's upcoming game is at present, all available evidence points to the fact that it will likely be a horror game. According to Henderson, who received footage of the game, he saw a character walking down a dark corridor and was also the victim of a jump scare, which suggests that Overdose may be a horror game. This would not be surprising to any Kojima fan, as he has expressed interest in making another horror game for a while. Famously, Kojima was meant to develop Silent Hills, but the game has never seen the light of day, save for a demo titled PT. Although Death Stranding is not a horror game, it features several horror elements and can be downright unnerving during certain segments. Nothing is known about the game's mechanics outside the fact that it will apparently let gamers switch between a first and third-person perspective. However, another leak has shown the logo, and the second O seems to be hiding a reference to PT. In the Overdose logo, 3 distinct circles can be seen, with the circles in question having a triangle layout. This same group of circles appeared during PT's gameplay, and it is highly unlikely that Kojima would use them again accidentally. Silent Hill fans will also recognize these circles from one of the series logos, something that made them a fun teaser within a teaser during PT. By that logic, they could just as easily be a teaser within Overdose, suggesting that this new game is also a front for a Silent Hill project. While this could just be another example of Kojima referencing the ill-fated Silent Hills with his new work, it would be an odd move to include the circles within Overdose's logo if they are not actually building to something. The biggest question would be how Kojima has gotten the chance to work on Silent Hill again, as he would likely never return to working with Konami. Perhaps either Microsoft or Sony, the rumored partners for his next game, could have secured the rights from Konami. Overdose could be Kojima's opportunity to make the horror game he has always aspired to make, and with Microsoft's cloud technology, it could be a truly unique game with innovative gameplay. It will likely be some time before gamers get more official news about the game, but at the very least, they can rest assured that Kojima is hard at work on his next project. If it does turn out to be a horror game, and Kojima applies everything he has learned from decades in the industry, Overdose could be a truly terrifying experience. Death Stranding was released on PS4 in 2019 before it received a PC port in July 2020. Death Stranding Director's Cut was released for PS5 in 2021 and PC in 2020, and it packed a host of additional features including new guns, new missions, and racetracks. According to Kojima Productions, by March 2021, Death Stranding had sold 5 million units, which is an impressive feat for the debut title of a new studio. In May 2022, Redis revealed that a Death Stranding sequel is in the works during an interview with Leo Edit, where he explained that after the game was released it was celebrated and won plenty of awards, so they just started part 2 of that. Not much is known about the sequel, though with Redis making a return, it is likely that it will continue Sam's story. Many gamers and critics struggle to make sense of the game's unique gameplay and convoluted plot, but it managed to impress enough people to seemingly justify a sequel, which Norman Reedus, who stars as Death Stranding's Sam Bridges, seemingly confirmed is on the way. Reedus' interview suggests that Kojima Productions has already started work on the Death Stranding sequel and that it is a response to the excitement the first game generated. Hence, it would not make much sense for the studio to waste time releasing it. On the other hand, Kojima has warned gamers that the Xbox game may take some time, so it will likely be a few years until gamers get to play it. The long wait may be worth it, as Overdose seems to be an ambitious game that aims to include many unique features. Rumors have been swirling that Xbox had partnered with Hideo Kojima for a new exclusive game release for well over a year. It was difficult to take the rumors seriously, however, considering the mountain of rumors that always surround Kojima. As of the Xbox and Bethesda Games Showcase 2022, that rumor can now be confirmed. Xbox is officially partnering with Kojima to develop a game built on the Xbox platform's cloud gaming technology. To the dismay of Xbox and Kojima fans, the game being worked on was not officially unveiled during the presentation. Rather, Kojima himself made an appearance in a short video. All Kojima was able to share is that the partnership between himself and Xbox is real and that the game Kojima Productions is working on is made leveraging the cloud. Outside of confirmation that the new game is built on Xbox's cloud technology, Kojima does offer a very general description of the project. He explains that the game is something he's waited a very long time to make and that it's a never-before-seen concept. With that in mind, it's no surprise that Kojima says it's an entirely new game and so unlikely to be a sequel, spin-off, or licensed project. Following the announcement of the Microsoft partnership, Kojima Productions confirmed it still has a very good relationship with PlayStation through an official statement on Twitter. Many people asked Kojima Productions about its partnership with PlayStation going forward, which resulted in a statement being released. Kojima Productions looks forward to the continued support of fans as the company explores new opportunities and technologies. Microsoft's use of its cloud technology in gaming can be seen in Microsoft Flight Simulator, which lets gamers take to the skies and fly planes around the world. Thanks to cloud technology, the game can stream a map of the entire planet and update it in real time to ensure that factors like time of day, weather, and other conditions match the real world. Kojima could take these ideas and innovate on them in creative ways with his upcoming game. For example, gamers who play at night might find a different environment and set of dangers compared to gamers who play during the daytime. Cloud technology could also be used to give players access to a shared map while still enjoying a single-player experience. This idea was toyed around within Death Stranding, which allowed players to build structures that appeared in the worlds of other players. However, with this, Kojima could expand on this idea to provide an even more integrated experience between players. It is very difficult to predict what an eccentric like Kojima will do next, and now that he has new technology in his hands, his imagination can travel to new places. Kojima has yet to reveal whether the announced game is Overdose, but in typical Kojima fashion, that announcement will likely come in the form of cryptic clues followed by a series of cinematic trailers. Until then, Kojima has the gaming world waiting with bated breath. This is the only thing that's worth talking about from the Xbox and Bethesda showcase. Sucker Punch Productions has consistently been one of the PlayStation's top studios, putting out hits like the Sly Cooper platforming series, the open-world action games Infamous, and most recently, open-world samurai game Ghost of Tsushima. Sucker Punch's next game is rumored to be a Ghost of Tsushima sequel, but nothing official has been announced. While we don't know what Sucker Punch's next game is in an official capacity, we do know what it won't be, thanks to a recent post by the studio. Sucker Punch published a post announcing their 25th anniversary and maintenance for Infamous 2's user-generated content so that players will still be able to access them for a bit longer. Sucker Punch confirmed that, at some point, the Infamous 2 UGC servers will have to be shut down, though it didn't provide a window for when that may happen. On the bright side, it also confirmed that the Cole's Legacy DLC for Infamous Second Son may be coming to the PlayStation Store at some point down the line. Previously, the Cole's Legacy DLC was only available to those with the Infamous Second Son Collector's Edition. As far as a new Infamous game goes, Sucker Punch confirmed in the post that it does not have any plans to revisit Infamous at this time. It added that it also has no plans to make a new Sly Cooper game yet either. Not only that, but Sucker Punch also shot down the persistent rumors that other studios have been given the reins to make new Infamous and Sly Cooper games instead. This is likely very disappointing news for fans of those franchises, especially since the rumors had come from fairly reliable sources. These characters are very special and near and dear to our hearts, so while we'd never say never to reopening those doors down the road, for now there are no Infamous or Sly Cooper games in development, Sucker Punch said. It was easy to believe the rumors about a new Sly Cooper game being in development. After all, Sucker Punch Productions didn't even develop the latest game in the series. Development of 2013 Sly Cooper, Thieves in Time was instead handled by Sanzara Games, which has since been acquired by Facebook to make games for Meta virtual reality devices. The rumor was that Sony had nevertheless found a different studio to make the next Sly Cooper game while Sucker Punch was busy making the Ghost of Tsushima sequel. According to the rumor, Concrete Genie developer Pixelopus was making the new Sly Cooper game, with a possible reveal to take place at the rumored PlayStation State of Play event that's expected to happen in September. It's rare for game studios to directly address rumors like this, so Sucker Punch making this statement means that these rumors were almost certainly based on false information. In recent years, Sucker Punch is a studio that has become known for the Infamous series, which lets gamers experience having superpowers along with the moral dilemmas that come with it, and Ghost of Tsushima, which takes players to Japan's Tsushima Island during the Mongol invasion. Both IPs have been hugely successful, especially Ghost of Tsushima, which has spawned an upcoming film and has resulted in Sucker Punch's directors becoming ambassadors for the real-world Tsushima Island. However, before players were shooting neon in Seattle or petting foxes on Iki Island, there was Sly Cooper. The first game in Sucker Punch's Sly Cooper series was released in 2002, and it was hugely successful thanks to its humor, unique art style, and rich personality, leading to plenty more games being developed. However, since Sly Cooper Thieves in Time, the only title not produced by Sucker Punch, the series has seen a lull, and no new games have been released. It is sad to see this lovable franchise fall by the wayside, especially when it has the opportunity to join in on the wave of classic platforming games that are enjoying a revival. Sony revamped its PlayStation Plus subscription service by fusing it with PlayStation Now and providing multiple tiers for gamers to pick the subscription plan that suits them. Gamers that select the PlayStation Plus Deluxe or Premium deal gain access to a catalog of classic games that can be streamed, including PS3 games, PSP games, and PS1 games. Some games on offer are quite dated, but they have been made playable by bumps in frame rate and resolution, and players can rewind and save at any time. Since the service has launched, gamers have been able to enjoy a plethora of games from throughout PlayStation's history, including several platformers that were essential parts of many gamers' childhoods, such as Echochrome and Jak and Daxter. Unfortunately, Sly Cooper is not present, which is a disappointment. This does not mean that it will never appear, as games are inserted in the catalog on a rotating basis. However, it does not seem like Sly Cooper will be getting much attention soon because Sucker Punch, as it recently revealed, has its sights set elsewhere at present. This is a pity because, despite their age, the Sly Cooper games hold up quite well and can still be enjoyed by modern gamers. Furthermore, the cartoonish art style has ensured that the games do not look too outdated. In recent years, plenty of classic platformers have been revived, and they have been received warmly by gamers. This is seen, for instance, with Crash Bandicoot. Originally developed by Naughty Dog, the franchise was later picked up by Vicarious Visions, leading to the release of Crash Bandicoot N. Sane Trilogy, which is a collection of the first 3 games remastered. The remasters were very well received, becoming the best-selling game launch of the first half of 2017 and paving the way for the release of Crash Bandicoot for its about time in 2020. The successful reboot of the series proved that it is possible to reboot classic platformers for modern audiences. Crash Bandicoot is not the only platformer that has enjoyed a comeback. The Spyro franchise, which features a purple, fire-breathing dragon, was first released in 1998 on PlayStation. Although sales for the first game started slow, it eventually gained popularity, paving the way for a successful series. Like Crash Bandicoot, the Spyro series experienced a lull until remastered versions of the first 3 games were released. Developed by Toys for Bob, Spyro reignited trilogy hit store shelves in 2018, which sparked renewed interest in the cute, gliding dragon. Given the success of both Crash Bandicoot and Spyro, it seems like a no-brainer that Sly Cooper should receive a reboot as well. However, it does not seem like it is in the plans, at least for the near future. In a recent post on its site, Sucker Punch confirmed that it currently has no plans to revisit Sly Cooper or Infamous at present because it is busy with projects that require its full attention. It also made it clear that no other studios are busy with the IPs either. This is surely terrible news for all Sly Cooper fans, especially when the market has shown itself to be so ripe for classic platformers to make a comeback. The first 3 games in the Sly Cooper series have already received remasters before through the Sly Collection, which was released on PS3 and PS Vita. However, that was in 2010, and gaming has progressed enough to warrant high-quality remakes of the beloved classic games. A new entry to the series would have also been greatly appreciated. As gamers, it would provide an opportunity for developers to reboot the series for a new generation of gamers while retaining the stealth platforming gameplay that made the game so popular. Seeing every Sly Cooper character rendered in painstaking detail would be a treat for longtime fans, while developers would get to do so much more with how they allow players to interact with the environment and hide from enemies. As the superhero genre continues to gain traction in films and television, there have been a handful of fantastic games that followed suit. From the commercially underappreciated Guardians of the Galaxy by Eidos Montreal to the upcoming Gotham Knights by WB Montreal, the cultural adoration for all things super is growing by the day. That's not to say the genre was dormant before, as Infamous led the charge throughout the PlayStation 3 generation. Yet aside from a couple of outings on the PS4, it has been largely abandoned by Sucker Punch. In its quest to bring players to feudal Japan with Ghost of Tsushima, the developer left Infamous in the rearview. However, because so much of modern entertainment takes advantage of superheroes, and game design has shifted to more of an open-world focus, 2022's landscape indicates a game like Infamous would be well received. Not only would it satisfy fans of the series to see a new story for Cole McGrath or Delsin Rowe, but it could also bring something new to a genre dominated by just a handful of companies. In both films and video games, superhero titles are typically being produced by one of 2 major companies. DC and Marvel have been fighting for the hearts of comic fans for decades, and the MCU has been constantly challenged by DC's inconsistent film releases. Infamous is a property owned by neither, and while this could be damaging to its sales, it also provides something new from the characters, world building, and storytelling seen in DC and Marvel projects. Sucker Punch doesn't currently have plans for a new Infamous game, but it could be leaving money on the table. However, Sucker Punch is a prime candidate to develop something Marvel or DC related, largely thanks to its success in the genre with Infamous. The stranglehold that these comic titans have on the entertainment industry isn't universally enjoyed though, and there have been series from other companies with more to appreciate. Whether it's the boys' unapologetic violence and brutality or Image's invincible unpredictable origin story for a strong protagonist, being a superhero property not owned by Marvel or DC is a draw in and of itself, leaving room for Infamous in 2022. As the 2020s roll on, it's clear that more players are finding enjoyment in open worlds for third-person, single-player experiences. One of the key reasons Guardians of the Galaxy didn't gain as much traction was because its level design is linear, which felt dated in comparison to other superhero games. When Spider-Man has the whole of Manhattan to explore and Batman could stalk the rooftops of Arkham City, all 16 chapters of Eidos-Montreal's Guardians felt a bit more restrictive than focused. Infamous Second Son gave players the first truly great open world of the generation, a sprawling and exciting take on Seattle that harnessed the power of Sony's latest console. Delson could use his smoke, neon, video, and concrete powers to wreak havoc on the city, or save the lives of its unassuming inhabitants. A new Infamous game that replicates its success in a different city could recapture the magic of the series while adhering to the popularity of the superhero genre, giving PlayStation fans another reason to boot up their PS5. Superheroes are very popular now, but this wasn't so much the case in 2009 when Infamous released. The genre was still seen as somewhat niche at the time, so rebooting this franchise in today's climate would cater to a culture that is far more inclined to give it a shot. Marvel and DC may rule the video game scene, but before Insomniac took on the iconic web-slinger and Rocksteady had its take on the Caped Crusader, Sucker Punch was leading the charge for superheroes in video games, and it could do so again. In modern times, the development period of games has greatly extended, and it takes far more people to craft AAA titles. Consequently, studios cannot work on every project that they would love to invest their time and money into. Sly Cooper and Infamous, unfortunately, are victims of the fact that studios cannot do everything they wish to, and some franchises will inevitably fall to the wayside. The news that Sly Cooper will not be getting revived is sad, especially in the wake of the revival of so many other classic platformers. However, it does free Sucker Punch to make other games or continue with IPs that have hooked gamers, including Ghost of Tsushima. 8 years on from its release, Sucker Punch has announced via social media that the Cole's Legacy DLC will now be free for almost all players. Those who own Infamous Second Son or have collected the game as part of the PlayStation Plus collection can claim the additional content through the PlayStation Store. There may be a small charge for those living in an area where a financial transaction must take place, but Sucker Punch has assured players that this will be nominal. The DLC pack contains missions surrounding the events which transpired during the gap between Infamous 2 and Second Son. Fan favorite, Zeke Dunbar, who was notably absent throughout the main game, makes a cameo appearance, and upon completing the story, a few of Cole's treasured possessions will be unlocked within the main game. In the same thread, Sucker Punch also confirmed that players will soon be able to pick up the DUP outfit for fetch in the 2014 follow-up, Infamous First Light, again at no extra cost. The team has also migrated Infamous 2's user-generated content to a new server to keep the game's online multiplayer up and running a while longer. Since First Light, the franchise has remained largely dormant as Sucker Punch turned its attention to their ambitious Ghost of Tsushima. As development is coming to an end, the team is working on an entirely new project which points toward a Ghost of Tsushima sequel. Sucker Punch has gone as far as to say that both Sly Cooper and Infamous won't be returning just yet. Still, these announcements will certainly be welcome news for fans who missed the DLC the first time around and need an excuse to revisit the franchise. It's also good news for those players discovering Infamous through the PlayStation Plus collection. Ghost of Tsushima is definitely a milestone of a game for Sucker Punch, as Ghost of Tsushima have surpassed 9.73 million units as of July 3, publisher Sony Interactive Entertainment and developer Sucker Punch Productions announced. The game's sales were last reported to have surpassed 8 million units on January 4. Ghost of Tsushima first launched for PlayStation 4 on July 17, 2020, followed by Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 on August 20, 2021. Sucker Punch also shared a few additional statistics, including how many photographs have been taken, how many foxes have been pet, and more. Looking at these numbers, it is certain that older franchises from Sucker Punch will be going extinct. The wait for Bayonetta 3 has been one of the longest in recent memory, with few updates since its reveal at the Game Awards 2017. While the game was announced within the first year of the Nintendo Switch's lifecycle, it seems it's finally gearing up for release as Platinum Games and Nintendo have announced that Bayonetta 3 will launch in October of this year, exclusively for the Switch, which is a shame. As previously mentioned, Bayonetta 3 was announced almost 5 years ago at the Game Awards 2017, where it was revealed that Platinum Games and Sega would be teaming up with Nintendo once again for a third entry in the beloved hack and slash action series. Shortly after this, Platinum brought the previous games to Switch in February 2018, followed by a long silence regarding any new Bayonetta 3 information until September 2021, where it was revealed that the game will release in 2022 and will feature new elements such as a kaiju-like infernal demon battles and a redesign for Bayonetta herself. After its no-show at June 2022's Nintendo Direct Mini Partner Showcase, fans were skeptical of whether Bayonetta 3 would make it out in 2022 as planned. Now, thankfully, fans can rest easy knowing Bayonetta 3 is slated to launch on October 28, 2022, and accompanying the announcement is a bombastic new trailer that reveals recurring characters such as Jean, Rodin, and Luca, as well as a new playable character called Viola, who is a witch in training under Bayonetta. The trailer also reveals more of the infernal demon gameplay, as well as showcasing various new areas that appear to be based on real-world locations like Tokyo and China. Nintendo has also announced via Twitter that Bayonetta 3 will launch alongside a Trinity Masquerade Edition, which will include a special sleeve artwork for Bayonetta 3 and the Switch releases of Bayonetta and Bayonetta 2, the former of which will also be receiving a limited physical release alongside the third game's release. The Trinity Masquerade Edition also includes a 200-page art book. If the latest trailer is anything to go off, Platinum Games seems to be pushing the Nintendo Switch to its absolute limits with Bayonetta 3. The company has already had a stellar track record on the console with titles like Astral Chain, The Wonderful 101 Remastered, and the upcoming port of Nier Automata to the console. In many ways, Bayonetta 3 is the game Platinum has been building to with its strong lineup of Switch titles. The third game also comes almost exactly 8 years after the Wii U release of Bayonetta 2, which released on October 24, 2014 outside of Japan. In the first look trailer for Bayonetta 3, the titular protagonist shows up in what is confirmed to be the Shibuya district of Tokyo to fight off mysterious new baddies. But as to why Bayonetta finds herself in Tokyo is a big mystery since the release of the trailer in September 2021. During the first Bayonetta, players follow the journey of the then amnesiac protagonist through the fictional European city-state of Vigrid as the witch seeks to recover the other half of the Eyes of the World, a key aspect to the lore of Bayonetta. In Bayonetta 2, the Witch of Umbran and Lumen descent brings her story to the Middle East, to the holy mountain of Fimbulventr and the city of Noten that sits at its base. It's not unlike the series to have Bayonetta travel around the world, but her showing up in Tokyo is a mystery since, as of yet, there is nothing that ties Tokyo to the current series lore. One rumor that's been floating around since the release of the first look trailer is the possibility of a connected universe between Platinum Games' Bayonetta and its 2019 release Astral Chain. The latter title is set in a dystopian future and is based in a megacity on an artificial island called the Ark, that certainly has Tokyo vibes. This connection has been circulating because the first look trailer featured a statue of the Ark Police Department's mascot, Lappy, and the P that Bayonetta shoots into the unknown creature looks remarkably like the P that's on Lappy's police hat. If the Bayonetta that fans see within the first look trailer is actually young Cereza, then it would be highly possible that the alternate Bayonetta is in Tokyo because she grew up there. The return of Cereza to Bayonetta 3 could mean that this alternate reality places heavy emphasis on Japanese folklore, whereas the first two games had leaned more heavily toward Norse mythology, with names like Aesir, Balder, and Loki in the mix. There are many details that could have been missed unless one replayed the Bayonetta series more recently. One of the obvious differences brought up between the Bayonetta in the latest trailer and that of previous titles in the series is the dance moves she pulls before summoning devastating attacks. Within the first two games, the Angel and Demon Slaying Witch would use more Western-leaning dance moves while those of the Bayonetta shown in the first look trailer seems to be inspired by Japanese pop. Her J-pop dance moves could mean that she has spent a lot more time in Japan rather than Europe. Apart from the release date, plenty of other things were shown off in the new gameplay trailer. Returning characters like Rodin, Jean, and Luca were confirmed. A new addition to Bayonetta 3 was also introduced in Viola, who is a witch training under Bayonetta. As well as side characters appearing in the trailer, it seems that another version of the titular protagonist may show up in Bayonetta 3, as displayed in a screenshot Nintendo has since put up on its Twitter. The image was posted alongside the caption, "Wait, is that two Bayonettas?" With that simple tweet, Nintendo seemed to confirm for fans that another version of the famed witch could be appearing in Bayonetta 3. Fans may not have noticed that this other character is indeed another version of Bayonetta when watching the trailer, as the alternate which is wearing an outfit vastly different from what players of the first two Bayonetta games would expect. The clothing for the second Bayonetta is red and gold, with a flamboyant design and even some armor on the shoulders. Given the recent success of films like Everything Everywhere All at Once and Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, some fans are already creating multiverse theories around the story of Bayonetta 3. Another version of Bayonetta has already appeared in the series, as in the first game the witch ended up finding a younger version of herself in Cereza. Fans believe that Cereza is set for a return in Bayonetta 3, which seems all the more likely with another version of the witch apparently confirmed for the game. Bayonetta fans will often pick at the slightest details to try and unravel the story of a game through its trailers. Already, some believe that players may not be taking on the role of the original Bayonetta at all, and due to the location changes and different hair scene in Bayonetta 3, Cereza could even be the protagonist of the latest game. While the first two Bayonetta games dabbled with time travel, they were always instances of a character from the past joining the events in the present, with both examples being a young Cereza and younger Baldur respectively. It is this young Cereza, who was revealed to be Bayonetta as a child, is where Bayonetta 3's speculated twist on time travel originates from, as fans were quick to point out the uncanny similarity between Cereza and Bayonetta's hairstyles. Given the significance of hair within Bayonetta's lore, many believe this might mean that the version of Bayonetta in the third game is actually a grown-up Cereza. Two timelines could be created here, one with Bayonetta in the first and second games, and the other with Cereza, who grew up likely inspired by meeting her future self and making different decisions in her life. Fans point to details such as the original Bayonetta voice actress not reprising her role to the aforementioned hair as evidence of this, and the story might explore the paradoxical nature of the two timelines attempting to simultaneously exist. In the latest trailer, the story seems to not be taking this focus, and instead is going in a different direction. Interesting moments arose from the latest release date trailer that support the idea that Bayonetta 3 will be going a step above a time travel premise. At one point in the trailer, a different version of Bayonetta is shown sporting a more ostentatious, almost ceremonial red outfit, even complemented by an eye patch as if to ensure fans recognize the radical changes to the character. While this version of Bayonetta appears to be more experienced and knowledgeable, it may lead some to jump to the time travel theory for Bayonetta's future, but Nintendo has been keen to emphasize the distinction of two versions of the character, disproving this idea. In light of this, in another part of the trailer, Jean appears to confront a new character who many are assuming is Sigurd, whose name was referenced by Viola, as his appearance reflects that of the new enemies dubbed homunculi. This enigmatic character comments on something called the Alphaverse, but no further details are provided. It is common nomenclature, though, to add the suffix verse when discussing multiverse concepts, and alpha would suggest the first or original. The implication here is that there are now other universes beyond the select few seen in the Bayonetta series so far, and Bayonetta 3 could take the player through several more. A possible counterargument, though, is that if this character is Sigurd, or is at least human, then Alphaverse might refer to the human world, or Purgatorio, between Inferno and Paradiso, since humans' involvement in these realms has been limited, meaning they would have their own terminology for them. However, this seems unlikely, as characters including the second Bayonetta and the mysterious Viola make reference to this world or reality in general, implying that they are talking with the knowledge of other worlds or universes existing beyond their own. While there is still every chance that these theories could be only somewhat true, many fans are convinced that Bayonetta 3 will be the first of the series to take on a larger scope with the multiverse. Previous games have already had high stakes by having Bayonetta beat the godlike Jubilius, creator of the Trinity of Realities, into the literal sun, so expectations are high. In spite of this, however, what will be most interesting for players is how Bayonetta 3 can transform the local threat of homunculi and human interference into a multiversal fight to save reality. While this trailer showed off the action and character models in their original look, Platinum Games reveals there is an optional sensor mode for certain players. This mode was announced in a tweet from Platinum Games itself, with this being called Naive Angel Mode. When this mode is toggled, it will cover up certain elements that show a lot of skin from Bayonetta, such as when she executes her Wicked Weave attacks. Instead of completely stripping Bayonetta down naked, she will be covered by a bodysuit. This applies to Bayonetta's masquerade transformations as well, with the tweet having a video that shows the differences between whether the mode is turned on or not. This mode is stated to be completely optional, and helps appeal to a wider demographic who might be somewhat turned off by the game's over-the-top sexual content. Amusingly, Platinum Games alludes to this mode being best for playing right in the living room without the game being mistaken for something else. Fans noted this mode was similar to how Bayonetta was handled in the Super Smash Bros. Series, with some even calling it Smash Bros. Mode. With this mode, it's likely to help Bayonetta 3 get a broader audience, without alienating any of the fans who enjoyed the risque elements of the series. Bayonetta hasn't been a big seller, and with only a few months left before release, Platinum Games is doing a lot to help get as many eyes on the game as possible, with this mode being one way of doing so. Speaking of Nintendo, Nintendo doubles down on its decision to close the Wii U and 3DS eShops, announcing the date that gamers will no longer be able to use them. Even though the Wii U might not be remembered as the best console Nintendo has ever created, and the company itself has even admitted to the mistakes made with the console that it had to avoid when making the Switch, there are plenty of gamers still utilizing the older hardware. The 3DS too is still enjoyed by many Nintendo fans, with some interesting and rare exclusive titles for the platform. However, games for both the Nintendo 3DS and Wii U are about to get a lot rarer, as Nintendo has announced when it will shut down the eShops for the older consoles. It was announced earlier this year that Nintendo was preparing to shut down the eShops for the Wii U and 3DS, rendering tons of digital titles inaccessible on those platforms. This decision unsurprisingly proved to be an unpopular one with the majority of fans, as it seemed that Nintendo was making an active effort against video game preservation. Despite fan feedback, Nintendo hasn't budged on this controversial decision, giving fans the date when they will no longer be able to access the eShops for the 3DS and Wii U. March 27, 2023 is the final day for the Wii U and 3DS eShops, and from that day forward, gamers will no longer be able to download their favorite titles from those platforms. For those that are considering just buying physical copies for Wii U and 3DS games, the prices of those titles are likely to increase drastically following this date. It was announced back in February when this news first dropped that by the end of March 2023 the eShops would be inaccessible, but that doesn't stop the confirmation from marking a sad day for owners of the Wii U and 3DS. Already, some measures have been put in place to stop users from accessing the eShop. In May, players could no longer add funds via a credit or debit card within the eShops. As of August 29, 2022, it will be impossible to add funds entirely to an account on the Wii U or 3DS, likely preparing for the day purchases will stop completely. This decision by Nintendo has led fans into demanding that the Virtual Console, which has a load of Nintendo titles, be brought to the Nintendo Switch. This isn't the first time Nintendo has closed down the eShop of one of its older consoles. In March, the Wii Shopping Channel and DSi Shop were also randomly shut down, with Nintendo not explaining at the time whether these were temporary closures for maintenance or a permanent termination. For the Wii U and 3DS eShops, there's no such confusion, and gamers should make sure they are prepared for the date when the shops will close. It's no secret that Grand Theft Auto V is one of the most successful games of all time, no hyperbole whatsoever, and for that reason, Rockstar's focus on it and GTA Online makes sense. But this has come at the potential cost of some of its backlog over time, likely including the cancellation of Agent and Bully, as the GTA franchise as a whole took off. Indeed, it's hard not to associate Rockstar as a GTA and RDR studio, with Grand Theft Auto 6 as the next game on the horizon. When it officially announced the development of Grand Theft Auto 6, fans were ecstatic. It'll no doubt be hard for GTA 6 to follow GTA 5, but the inverse of that is GTA 6 is an almost guaranteed excess. In fact, recent news is good for GTA 6 if not so good for Red Dead. As outlined by Rockstar in a recent blog post, it has slowly and steadily shifted resources toward Grand Theft Auto 6 over the past few years. This could potentially explain why updates for Red Dead Online have waned to the point that RDO players are hosting its funeral. It seems that Rockstar is shifting even more focus to GTA 6 now, as it outlined plans for RDO that may be less ideal than some wanted. That's not to say that Rockstar isn't planning anything for Red Dead Online, just that its plans include showcasing its unique modes, seasonal events and improvements, new Telegram missions, and community spotlights. In other words, it sounds more like it's going on autopilot than any game with the full backing and support of its developer. Fans will be getting more, but between this and the community's upset with the July 2022 update, it seems that Red Dead Online will remain mostly stagnant over the next few years. What's bad for Red Dead here is likely good for Grand Theft Auto 6. Part of this shifting resource tactic is because Rockstar understands that Grand Theft Auto 6 more than ever the need to exceed players' expectations and for this next entry to be the best it can possibly be. Again, even for Rockstar, to follow GTA 5 is a daunting task. As to when fans learn more, it's currently unknown. Some online murmurings suggest Grand Theft Auto 6 could get a proper teaser this year, with the game planning for a 2024 release. According to a reliable source in the Rockstar community, plans for Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1 remasters have been scrapped. They've reportedly spoken to a reliable source on Rockstar plans, and their source states that remasters of Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption 1 were planned a few years ago. However, at some point and for unspecified reasons, Rockstar is said to have scrapped these plans. The reception to the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition may have impacted this decision. As many know, this collection remastered Grand Theft Auto 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, but unfortunately, they came with serious technical issues. Several patches have been released so far, yet it remains a stain on Rockstar's portfolio. Obviously, many fans are upset by this news. Red Dead Redemption is a bona fide classic, and remastering it closer to the scale of Red Dead Redemption 2 sounds like an instant success. The same could be said of Grand Theft Auto 4. However, it should be noted that Rockstar has a reputation for going slow and steady for its games. This hasn't prevented crunch in the past, but past development reports suggest that Grand Theft Auto 6 is avoiding crunch. It does remain to be seen how future Rockstar remasters shake out. Take-Two Interactive, its parent company, is said to have several remasters lined up for the next few years, and many have assumed it would be RDR1 at least. Now, however, it could be from other companies under the Take-Two banner. I will always prefer a remake over these half-ass remasters. A remake built from the ground up with DualSense support and 3D audio and taking advantage of the PlayStation 5 is necessary, and I would like them to remake these classics. Yakuza Like a Dragon is one of the most critically acclaimed games in the series. It launched in 2020 to positive reception from both critics and fans, with a lot of praise given to the new protagonist Ichiban Kasuga. Ichiban had big shoes to fill as Yakuza 6 The Song of Life was the last game starring the series protagonist Kazuma Kiryu, but he quickly became a fan favorite thanks to his endearing personality. Ryuji Gotoku Studio confirmed last year that a sequel to Yakuza, Like a Dragon, is in development. Ichiban Kasuga will return as the protagonist along with the turn-based gameplay system that debuted in Like a Dragon. This game is supposed to take place several years after the events of Yakuza Like a Dragon, but Sega had not revealed any other information until this day. Famitsu has just shared new screenshots of the in-development Yakuza 8, known as Ryuji Gotoku 8 in Japan. These off-screen images were taken from a behind-the-scenes video featuring MMA fighter Mikuru Asakura, who is also set to appear in the game. Mikuru Asakura is a real, accomplished, mixed martial artist, who competes within the Japanese Risen Fighting Federation at the featherweight level. Winning several weight class championship titles over the course of his short but successful career, Asakura is one of Japan's most well-known MMA fighters. To conceptualize how regarded Asakura is within the fighting world, he is set to fight the world-renowned Floyd Mayweather in an exhibition boxing match this September. Also being a very popular social figure in Japan, Mikuru Asakura has a YouTube channel that boasts over 2.5 million subscribers. As a testament to how popular Mikuru is within Japan, he is set to appear as a character in the upcoming Yakuza 8. As a part of his involvement as a character within Yakuza 8, Mikuru Asakura was invited to the headquarters of Ryuji Gotoku Studio, the Sega-owned development studio responsible for all the Yakuza games. While filming a behind-the-scenes video of his experience at Ryuji Gotoku for his YouTube channel, Mikuru captured development images of Yakuza 8, which revealed a lot of information about the upcoming title. The captured footage showed parts of a cutscene involving returning Like a Dragon protagonist Ichiban Kasuga, as well as fellow characters Koichi Adachi and Yunamba. This footage essentially confirms that Yakuza 8 will be a direct sequel to the well-received Like a Dragon, continuing the story of Ichiban even further. In the footage, Ichiban is seen without his wild trademark hairstyle, instead sporting a pulled-back man bun. While it is unknown whether the new Yakuza will maintain Like a Dragon's ambitious turn-based combat, the confirmation of its cast is huge news nonetheless. It is not unusual for the Yakuza games to feature real-life figures playing themselves, with real-life fighters being a growing staple of Yakuza cameos. It is possible that Mikuru Asakura will appear within the game as himself, fighting and befriending the player in true Yakuza fashion. For example, the In Pursuit of Pleasure sub-story for Yakuza Kiwami featured real-life Japanese judo gold medalist Shinichi Shinohara, and Yakuza SXS Clan creator featured high-profile Japanese ex-wrestlers in antagonist roles. Many of the hostesses that appear throughout the franchise are also comprised of real-world actresses, with many fan-favorite aspects of the Yakuza formula being made possible by these kinds of cameos. While the extent of Mikuru Asakura's role within Yakuza 8 is of course still up to speculation, any appearance from a fighter as famous and successful as Asakura is likely to be a memorable one. They feature a closer look at 3 of the main playable characters like Ichiban Kasuga, Koichi Adachi, and Yunanba, but fans will notice that Ichiban has changed his hairstyle. He has opted to tie it instead of keep his iconic afro from Yakuza Like a Dragon. The cutscene in which Ichiban gets the afro is pretty memorable and the characters tease him constantly for his hair. However, the Yakuza games are filled with fan service, so it will not be surprising to see him revert to the original hairstyle later on in the story. Additionally, it looks like Adachi and Nanba retain their original designs. The Famitsu article also states that Yakuza 8 features a new town. It's fair to assume that most of the game will take place in the new city, similar to how Like a Dragon is centered around Yokohama. Likely, other cities will also be a part of the game, but fans will have to wait for a confirmation. Unfortunately, this is the extent of the new information available as WiiU Gotoku Studio is yet to officially reveal the game and its release window. This video was probably aimed at giving players a first look at the main characters alongside a tour of the studio. WiiU Gotoku Studio is fairly efficient, so we will probably not have to wait long before we can get our hands on Yakuza 8. One of the godfathers of FPS gaming, John Romero's contributions to influential series such as Wolfenstein, Doom, and Quake and gaming as a whole cannot be understated. However, his post-turn-of-the-century efforts haven't been nearly as acclaimed as the titles on which he stamped his name in the 90s. That said, this could be changing, as Romero Games, a Galway-based studio founded by John and his wife Brenda in 2015, is currently looking to fill multiple positions related to an undisclosed FPS game the studio has in development. Romero's recent tweet about the subject was less of an announcement and more of a casting call of sorts. He only offers that Romero Games is working on a new FPS, and implores those occupying appropriate fields to check out their website. Romero Games' homepage does confirm that this new project will utilize Unreal Engine 5, though little else is said about the forthcoming game. There are a lot of Unreal Engine 5 projects in the works right now, and, given the capability of the engine, it's impossible to guess for what exactly Romero and his team may be using it. It could be that Romero is hoping to assemble a larger team to produce the upcoming Doom 2 add-on Sigil 2, but that doesn't seem likely. The original Sigil debuted as a so-called megawatt for the original Doom, and its retrocentric design philosophies were praised by many old-school FPS gamers. That said, Sigil was primarily a solo effort, and it doesn't seem like Romero would require a team of Unreal Engine 5 savvy developers to assemble a sequel. What's more likely is a new entrant in the current boomer shooter revival that's taking place in the indie scene. Titles such as Dusk, A Medieval, and Ion Fury have cultivated a revived interest in mid-90s FPS gaming, and, given the developer's background, Romero Games is most likely cooking up a new take on the retro craze. It's also worth noting that Romero teamed up with XID software cohort Adrian Carmack to produce a crowdfunded title called Blackroom, but nothing ever came of that. Could this new project be the next step for that long-shelved game idea, or will Romero and company be venturing into totally new territory? Longtime fans probably still remember the auteur creator's last deviation from the norm, which came in the form of 2000 Daikatana, a game so reviled that it's still remembered as a travesty more than 2 decades after the fact. Yet, given his work on Sigil and recent commemoration of Wolfenstein 3D's 30th anniversary, it seems Romero is more focused on his most well-received work. While Sony continues to try and counter low supply chains for its PlayStation 5 hardware, the company has continued to evolve and expand in other ways. This includes acquiring other studios like Jad or Raymond's Haven, to join the ranks of its first-party developers and continue growing exclusive titles for players. While fans likely won't see the results of this acquisition for some time, Sony has also made more immediate changes, such as the evolution of its PlayStation Plus program. Now, Sony is giving back to its players with a newly announced loyalty program. In an announcement on the PlayStation blog, Sony unveiled PlayStation Stars, a free loyalty and rewards program that launches later in 2022. After becoming a member, players can complete activities and campaigns, which reward points. The challenges themselves range in difficulty, like the monthly check-in that requires players to play any game, to more complex versions which require that players earn specific PlayStation trophies, participate and win tournaments, or be the first player in a time zone to earn a platinum trophy in a major title. Once earned, players can spend points in a rewards catalog that Sony has confirmed will feature a host of items from PSN wallet funds, select PlayStation Store products, and more unique rewards. In fact, PlayStation Plus members earn an additional benefit, which earns points when purchasing items from the PlayStation Store. The last piece to PlayStation Stars is the concept of digital collectibles. According to the blog, these are rewards that are digital representations of things like figures of iconic PlayStation characters and devices from Sony's history of innovation. The blog didn't get into specifics, but did confirm that there will always be new collectibles to earn, including ultra-rare versions. Members can also take part in all sorts of activities and challenges to earn points, from simple daily challenges to lengthy weekly and monthly tasks, to others which usually involve checking things out in the online store or marketplace. Currently, trophies are their own reward, meaning that the amount of players who care about them is on the low end. While there is certainly a dedicated trophy hunting community that cares about their platinum count and reaching the highest possible level, a majority of gamers do not care about getting 100% completion on their trophy lists. After all, there is no real benefit to getting trophies, as players will only get a sense of pride and a new addition to their digital collection. Though this is enough for some, and players can create their own competitions, it is not surprising that many players have no interest in trophies. However, PlayStation Stars could change that, pushing many to start going for trophies. If gamers start receiving rewards points for getting the platinum in games like God of War, Ragnarok, which can then be put toward real PSN wallet funds, more PlayStation fans could become eager to fully complete their games. For those who love trophy hunting, a growing audience of trophy hunters is only good news, as it means more opportunities to interact with fellow collectors. If Sony sees more fans engaging with trophies, too, it is more likely to continue improving the trophy system. Alongside an opportunity to expand the audience of trophy hunters, Sony has a chance to reward those that truly love the system when they hit certain goals. The new leveling system for PlayStation trophies sees players unlocking new icons every 100 levels, and each icon unlock could provide gamers with rewards points. Similar to the old trophy badges for Sony rewards, gamers could also get PlayStation Stars rewards points for every 10 platinums, 50 golds, and so on. Beyond that, Sony could deliver some truly memorable trophy competitions for players to compete in. While it has already highlighted things like a race to platinum games first, tournaments everyone could compete in would also be welcome. Players could be tasked with getting the most platinums out of their friends list for a certain month, while the next month could push players to see who can get the most ultra-rare trophies unlocked. Certain months could focus on different rarities like gold and silver trophies, while other competitions could push players to return to games and gather some DLC trophies. Right now, the sky is the limit for trophy usage in PlayStation Stars. While asking players to get specific achievements in big PlayStation Studios titles like The Last of Us Part 1 is a solid starting point, far more could be done with trophy challenges. Hopefully, Sony's new reward system reaches its full potential by giving players a large variety of ways to gather PlayStation Stars points. If trophies are used constantly instead of sporadically, the company should have no problem coming up with different tasks that are actually fun to complete. While PlayStation Store wallet funds and access to select products from said store sound like great rewards, the section about digital collectibles is far more intriguing. According to Sony, the lineup of these collectibles will be just as diverse as the company's lineup of games, citing replicas of PlayStation devices and figurines of beloved and iconic characters as some of the digital collectibles. However, no information is provided on where these rewards go once unlocked. One possibility is that a new section will be added to PlayStation Network profiles, letting players scroll through their digital rewards. While this could provide players with an easy way to access this new collectible type, as well as a way for others to see how it was acquired, it would be a bit odd. After all, having a page of random video game figurines and console images on a PlayStation profile seems odd, and it is hard to imagine many people striving to collect these figurines if they are just a static image on a player's profile. However, if these digital collectibles were PlayStation Home items, they would instantly make more sense and feel more interesting. The original PlayStation Home featured plenty of collectible trophies and figurines that could be acquired from completing mini-games, with players then able to place these items on the shelves within their player home. From there, they could invite their friends or random players to their apartment, showing off their collection of special items and fully customized rooms. A similar system would surely exist in a potential PlayStation Home 2, and it is easy to imagine how Sony could make it work. Platinuming 10 PS5 games could get players a digital collectible version of Sony's latest console, which they could then place and interact with in their PlayStation Home apartment. Similarly, completing the upcoming God of War Ragnarok could reward players with a Kratos figurine, which they could then use within PlayStation Home, posing it in a few different ways. Obviously, this is purely speculation, as Sony has not announced that a new PlayStation Home is in the works. Still, it seems like a perfect way to make the digital rewards meaningful. While players will likely have no interest in displaying an image of a DualSense controller on their PSN profile, they would likely be more intrigued if they could unlock a DualSense controller to add to one of their apartments in a social game. With the potential for auctions and trades involving these digital collectibles, they could be a huge draw if done right. Hopefully, Sony goes all in on making them special, giving PlayStation Home a second chance in the process. On July 19th, PlayStation Plus subscribers can look forward to the addition of 17 games across the PS Plus Extra and Premium tiers, including a brand new, Day 1 release. Come July 19th, PS Plus subscribers are free to check out Day 1 game Stray at no additional cost beyond what they pay for their subscription. Stray, for the uninitiated, is a game where players explore a cyberpunk city as a cat. It's been turning heads since its reveal for its unique premise and high-quality visuals, so it makes an especially exciting addition to the PS Plus game catalog. Stray will be joined by a variety of other games on July 19th, including Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, Marvel's Avengers, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected, Saints Row Gat Out of Hell, Spirit of the North, Enhanced Edition, Ice Age Scrat's Nutty Adventure, Jumanji the Video Game, Paw Patrol on a Roll, Ready Set Heroes, and a whopping 5 Assassin's Creed games. The Assassin's Creed games joining PS Plus on July 19th are Assassin's Creed Unity, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, Assassin's Creed Rogue Remastered, Assassin's Creed Freedom Cry, and Assassin's Creed, the Ezio Collection. Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection consists of Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, and Assassin's Creed Revelations, so if we want to get technical, that brings the new PS Plus game additions up to 19. All of the previously mentioned titles will be available to PS Plus Extra subscribers beginning July 19th, but there will be 2 new additions exclusive to PS Plus Premium subscribers the same day. Many PS Plus Premium subscribers have been underwhelmed by the service's lineup of PSP games, but July 19th will see the addition of 2 more PSP titles for fans to check out in the form of No Heroes Allowed and Locoroco Midnight Carnival. There's still a long way to go for the PS Plus Premium PSP games library, but this is certainly a step in the right direction. Fans of Ubisoft's Assassin's Creed franchise in particular should be excited for the PS Plus July 19th update, as it will be adding 7 AC titles to the subscription service. However, in addition to the above, a now-edited PS Plus Italy post showed access to 3 more premium games. These included the PSP titles Soul Calibur Broken Destiny and Ridge Racer 2, as well as the PS1 title Dino Crisis. It's not exactly unusual for PS Plus subscribers in different territories to get games, which was assumed at first to be what this meant, but they've now been removed. In other words, it seems perhaps Sony tried to get these games available everywhere but could not at this time. This could suggest, then, that next month or perhaps as surprise additions to PS Plus Premium later this month these games will become available. This is certainly exciting for fans, as each is a beloved and classic titles, but perhaps Dino Crisis stands out the most. After all, since the announcement of PS Plus Premium, fans have been hoping to see Dino Crisis available on the service. It didn't quite make it for launch, but with any luck, it'll be added soon. PlayStation is rolling out 7-day free trials of PS Plus Extra and Premium memberships across Europe. Users who have yet to purchase a PS Plus membership may redeem the free trial, and a credit card is required to sign up. One of the first countries to receive the free PS Plus Extra and Premium trials is Poland, according to Polish outlet XGP. The free trials are expected to launch across the entire region on July 19th. PlayStation has not confirmed availability of the PS Plus Extra and Premium free trials in the US, Japan, and other regions around the world. However, the existence of PS Plus and PS Now free trials in the past means the new trials are likely to launch in more regions soon after the European rollout. PlayStation is expected to share more information about the free trials since the tiered PS Plus service is relatively new in the gaming market. Free trials for PS Plus Extra and Premium introduces more players into PlayStation's ecosystem of services, and may help many decide to invest into a tier of PS Plus. PlayStation will likely reap the benefits of these free trials with an increase of new subscriptions, which will help the company bolster its capabilities with live service games and services. It's clear that the new PS Plus tiered service was constructed to appeal to active PS4 and PS5 users that want a continuous flow of games to play. On the other hand, PlayStation needs to continue improving the PS Plus service for all users around the world. The service may continue to entice new customers with more classic games, and the availability of free trials allows users to access a large catalog of games without risk. And that's all for the video, guys. Like and share the video for a greater audience. Comment your thoughts on the topics, and donations are always appreciated. Subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon, and until then, from SMPV, it's goodbye.